Well, I thought it was time for a bit of an update, a video update to describe what's happening at the moment. Firstly, forgive my kind of rough, unshaven look. I'm doing raising money for charity, for the Movember charity during this month, and so I'm not shaving. I'm trying to grow the beard as much as possible, aiming for a Father Christmas look. We'll see what happens. And About a few weeks ago, I changed the way I was working, and it seems to be paying off. The first thing that came out of that was the uh, readiness of Football Star Manager version 5. I got that ready for testing. It has bigger graphic display and various other enhancements which will become apparent. Um, but I also am recruiting people to be beta testers for that, and I will that will allow it to be thoroughly tested and then come out on all 5 platforms. That's iOS, Android, Kindle Fire, Windows 10, and Mac OS X. So I think that's a nice improvement, continuing the steady enhancements to Football Star Manager, the game that really is very much a renewal of my original game with a very strong connection to my original game. The game that I launched in 1982, incredibly, a long time ago, and which really started the genre of Football Manager games. And a lot of people are very happy that it's so playable and kind of brings back memories of when they played the game at that time. Which leads on to the next thing, because the second thing that I'm on now, which is progressing well too, really getting some good traction on, is the book, the Origin of Football Manager book. I've had that as a project for a while, and I've had ups and downs with it, but now it's really solidly storming along, and I've cleared the decks, so there's nothing else that will be in its way until it's complete, and I expect that to be completed in the next 2 months. Now that is a dig down into my memories of how and why I put the original Football Manager game together all those years ago. I think it's an interesting story because at the time there was nothing like it, and also at the time there was no substantial games industry. It was really, the games industry was in its very, very early days, without even a retail shop in the UK where I was making that game. And in the book I talk about all the steps that led to that game coming about, and it's an interesting process of going back into my memory and reminding myself of how the sequence of events in my life led to that game, and then why I did it and what followed on. And I cover various aspects around it, which I think are quite interesting and fun. And I think that the book will be worthwhile completing. And I think it's definitely a worthwhile project. And now I feel very confident that I'll have it finished in the next couple of months, because there's nothing else I'm doing until then. And when I finish that, of course, it'll have to go through a process to get out and published. But that means that I will then move on to my next project, which I've also have started on, but I'm now just delaying until I finish the book. And that is the Football New Manager game, which is my modern development of my Football Manager game. Obviously, Football Star Manager is based on the original game I wrote so many years ago, and but I have plenty of fresh ideas and desires to create something interesting and new, and that's what the Football New Manager game will be. There's plenty of ideas, it's just a case of implementing it. So I will start on that when I've finished the Origin of Football Manager. So I'll put some links in with the video, but if you want to try Football Star Manager, the current game, all you got to do is look for Kevin Toms on the App Store. Other than that, it's probably a good idea to join in my mailing list to keep in touch, but of course I'm also active on Facebook and Twitter as well. And there is a Kevin Toms Games group on Facebook as well. So these are all ways to keep in touch, and it's all going pretty well, and I intend it to continue that way. So I thought it'd be nice to make this update and cover a few subjects. So, all the best.